Welcome to the expectation setting video for EPs who will be joining with AIESEC Sri Lanka for the GCDP program. We have 4 local committees and several expansions in AIESEC Sri Lanka. LCs are Colombo South, Colombo North, Colombo Central and Jayawardenepura. All the LCs are based in the capital city of Colombo, and some of the expansions are based away from Colombo. We consist of a member base of over 300 members who are passionate and skillful. During the recent past, AIESEC Sri Lanka has been highlighted as one of the fastest growing entities in the network. These LCs are established in 4 different public universities. Colombo South LC caters to engineering background, Jayawardenepura LC consists of management, arts and applied science, and the other 2 deliver courses in art and commerce streams. The NPS, or the Net Promoter Score, means a scoring system which is based on the feedback of the past EPs in order to measure the quality of the internship. This mechanism might not yield perfect results, but reasonable conclusions could be derived. We did manage to maintain a NPS score of 29 with 333 responses by the day we produced this video. We have delivered 355 GCDP experiences for the last term between July 2012 to July 2013. Sri Lanka is considered to be one of the prime tourist destinations to visit in the world. It's enriched with many wonderful beaches and scenic views that will make you feel relaxed. Sri Lanka has been crowned as the best place to be visited in 2013 by Lonely Planet, the tourist magazine. Please refer our reception wiki for more details pertaining to traveling. As soon as you land in the soil of Sri Lanka, you will feel nothing but welcoming faces from our hearts. Due to the rich cultural and historical background, usually Sri Lankans are very kind-hearted, but always be careful when you deal with unknown people, because there might be a few bad people similar to any other country in the world. Living cost in Sri Lanka is considered to be very low relative to most of the countries. Cost of food, that is for the 3 meals per day, would be around $4 if the EP is satisfied with normal that a typical Sri Lankan would have. Sri Lanka is a developing country where everything cannot be expected to be perfect, so EPs must understand and be ready for things like sudden power cuts and water cuts. Furthermore, roads and buses are not perfect like you see in developed countries, so please refer the reception wiki provided in the latter part of this presentation for more information. Sri Lankan culture is very sensitive, so your behavior will be very important. Especially in the case of clothing, no short dresses or bikinis are accepted at most places. In order to get more details, please refer the reception wiki and talk with your TN manager. If your accommodation is planned as a homestay, as a general practice, you have to be considerate of the Sri Lankan culture, which does not support night culture and therefore not to be late at night. If you are planning to be late, please make sure to inform the house owner beforehand. Adding to that point, transport facilities in Sri Lanka during late nights are not so convenient. The learning can vary from project to project, and you cannot expect everything from one internship. Not only the accommodation but living and working conditions vary from project to project, so you should be aware about that and the fact that your friend might go through a different experience than you. During the project, you will be allocated to a new team where you have to work with different personalities. At the beginning, some of them might not be comfortable around you, so have proper communication with them to establish a healthy relationship. After all, it is your responsibility to do so. It could be considered as a part of their value-adding experience. As a responsible AIESECer, you must help the team and win the affection of the people around you. The accommodation provided by us does not usually include air conditioning. 2 to 3 EPs can be accommodated in the same room, while in an intern house there could be 6 to 20 EPs depending upon the facilities and space available. In most of the cases, accommodation type and other details will be mentioned in the TN form. If such information has not been mentioned, the EP has a right to know it during the matching process. It should additionally be mentioned that we cannot promise facilities such as refrigerators. Please take proper care of your place of accommodation and make sure to keep it clean. If you live in a homestay, you should understand that others live there as well. So always make it a habit of thinking twice before you act, especially to keep your neighbors satisfied. Maintaining a healthy relationship with the homeowners will be very useful to make your stay during the internship comfortable. Generally, Sri Lankan culture does not promote the practice of traveling late in the evening. So if your accommodation is a homestay, it is recommended that you don't get late every day. EPs will be sharing the room with another EP or a Sri Lankan, most probably of the same gender if the accommodation type is a homestay. In a situation where it is a dormitory or an intern house, mixed type rooms might be arranged. Therefore, please update yourself about these from your TN manager before you arrive. Please bear in mind that AIESECs in Sri Lanka are not working for EPs, but merely are present to support EPs to get the maximum out of an internship. It should be noted that AIESECs can only help you to a certain extent in some situations. The buddy system is developed to support the EP stay in Sri Lanka. The buddy will support the EP to sort out issues with external parties, communicate with the local committee to develop a travel plan if required, etc. Several EPs can be assigned to one buddy in certain situations. Thus, it is the responsibility of the EP to communicate with the buddy. Many EPs miss good opportunities to meet Sri Lankan AIESECs because they do not keep in touch with AIESECs. So please bear in mind that it is your responsibility to keep in touch with local AIESECs to get the maximum out of your internship. If your TN manager forgets to assign a buddy for you by any chance, you can request a buddy from him or her. All payments that are required to be made to the hosting local committee is mentioned in the TN form. If the exchange participant is not clear about the total amount that they need to pay, they can request an invoice from the local committee or request clarifications. We assure you that no AIESEC will personally benefit from your money since they are solely involved in a voluntary program. So if you face any issues, be calm and solve it through a proper discussion without engaging in arguments. Unless otherwise you have been informed prior by us, no payment should be made to the sending entity, which is the AIESEC local committee in your country, as a payment for the hosting entity. You only need to pay the EP fee for your own country, and the pre-agreed service fee for AIESEC Sri Lanka should only be made when you arrive in Sri Lanka. The cost for the airport pickup would vary depending on the project, since the distance to various locations might differ. Usually an airport pickup cost for a cab would be around $25, but expenses could vary depending on the destination and the waiting time for the cab. If the flight gets delayed, the expense could increase a little. There are 2 international airports in Sri Lanka. You should select the airport situated in Colombo, which is the Bandaranaike International Airport. All EPs who arrive on exchange to AIESEC Sri Lanka will be picked up from the airport depending on the information provided by you. In a scenario where the EP cannot find the AIESEC, the EP should contact the TN manager or the local committee vice president to check the reason or to arrange the pickup. The EP should not leave the airport with any unknown person due to any reasons. Before you arrive to Sri Lanka, please go through the reception wiki provided. Before your departure from your country, make sure you have written contact details or the telephone number of those people. Sri Lanka is a peaceful and safe country, but there can be a possibility of accidents or unfavorable conditions to occur. So it is strongly recommended for EPs to obtain a travel insurance. This is to mitigate the risk as much as possible in the situation such an issue takes place. For example, consider a scenario where you get sick. If you have proper insurance which will cover the health expenses, then you can reimburse the cost incurred. Please read about the Sri Lankan culture before you arrive in Sri Lanka. It will help you to maximize the benefits of your internship. When in Sri Lanka, you will be invited for various AIESEC events, which is a totally different culture. You will have fun while bonding, networking and creating friends from various countries and a whole lot more exciting experiences. So don't miss out on any of them. Information pertaining to visa, transportation, currency, food, communication, culture, people, leisure activities, the Colombo city, general information sources, AIESEC Sri Lanka, EP support system, airport pickup and reception are some of the aspects described in the reception wiki, which is a good source to understand about Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan food is usually spicy for foreigners, so when you order food from a shop, don't forget to mention that you need less spicy food, unless you're comfortable with spicy food. The transportation system in Sri Lanka is not very advanced, which is common to any developing country. So before you start a journey, we highly recommend you to discuss your transportation plans with your buddy or TN manager. Public transportation is not available at night, but you can hire a cab. But make sure you hire a cab from a known company, not a random one, especially if you're traveling alone. Try to schedule less work at night because of the transportation difficulties and safety issues that you might have to undergo. If you're getting late, you should tell your friends where you're going and how you're planning to come back. It's also very important to inform these details to house owners if you're staying at homestay. The terms and conditions for your project might be different from your friends' projects, so benefits and learning could also vary. So please don't try to compare projects. As mentioned previously, the NPS is a feedback from past EPs to measure the quality of the internship, which means we need your feedback to improve our delivery. So please be kind enough to fill the survey. All our efforts will be appreciated based on the number that you submit. So it is very important for you to select the correct choice. If you decide to select low values because of a reason that we are not responsible for, we will be identified as a country where EP should not be sent in the future. If you want to rank less than 6, please comment the reasons for your choice so that we can develop and perform much better next time. It is very important to understand the importance of mentioning the right sector during the feedback. As an example, if a teacher in the school is not supportive enough, it is unfair to add it to the category of hosting entity, but should be mentioned as a comment. If the project schedule gets delayed due to the unavailability of resources which are out of control of the hosting entity, it is not a fault of them. But if the projects get delayed because of poor planning, it's the responsibility of the hosting entity. The best way to sort out any issue is by negotiating instead of taking quick actions. We would highly appreciate if you can think from our perspective before coming to any conclusions, which will give you an opportunity to understand the bigger picture. Please remember that you are going for an internship in a different country where you are needed to help them. So AIESEC Sri Lanka, which is the hosting entity, will trust you and select you if you are suitable as an exchange participant to support the people who need you. Thus, if you're misleading us, you will not only let down the hosting entity, but you will also let down the people who are waiting for your support. This document was prepared to support the OGX entities who joined hands with AIESEC Sri Lanka. This edition has been prepared for the 2013-2014 term. For more information, please contact Noshan Pires, the Member Committee Vice President of AIESEC Sri Lanka. Please note that all pictures included here do not belong to us. We have just found them through the internet. Thank you for sharing them.